Hi, I'm Greg Lawrence.
I'm Catherine Ahman.
You know, we talked about communication skills in previous videos. One of the most important aspects of those communication skills are using I statements or you statements.
So this would be starting a statement with, I feel like you are upset right now. Are you? Or saying, you're upset right now. Because when you use you statements, it's very inflammatory, and a lot of couples and friends and anybody gets into a lot of trouble by using you statements, which tells the other person who they are, and they are almost guaranteed to argue with that because no one likes to be told who they are.
Or why they did something. You know, saying you did that because creates a space for an argument. You know, if I say, you know, this happened and this is how I felt, there's not much to argue with. Yes, it happened and that's how I felt. No one can tell me I didn't. But if I say, you did this because you don't like my mom, or you're mad about that thing that happened last week, or you're still upset about that thing this morning, that's an opportunity for an argument. And besides that, you can't read the other person's mind and know why they did something.
So one thing you can stop is that a conversation is getting a little bit tangled up. You can stop and notice, oh, I'm using you statements. Well, you said, well, you promised, well, you always are this way. And this never contributes to a conversation. It always is like throwing a match on a gasoline on a fire.
You can actually stop in the middle of a conversation and note with the other person, hey, we're starting to use you statements. Let's back up a little bit and use I statements so that we can actually clear this thing and resolve this conflict instead of just inflaming it.
So what you do is if you want to say some sort of, you catch yourself wanting to say some sort of you statement, then you pull back and you go, what am I feeling? I'm feeling a little scared because it seems like my partner is raising their voice. So instead of going, you're raising your voice, I go, I'm feeling a little scared that we're going to get out of control here because our voices are raising. That's like, I'm sharing a vulnerable thing. I am sharing my experience. I'm not making the other person wrong. And that way, obviously we're in love, they're going to go, oh, I didn't mean that.
You know, things like, I felt this way, I feel this way, this is what I heard, it seems like. These are all reasonable statements, much more reasonable than telling someone who they are or why they did something.
So it seems very elementary, and it actually is. But it's something we can always remind ourselves of. And you know what? Years ago when I was teaching men who were arrested for domestic violence, this is one of the first things we taught was I statements versus you statements. It's very powerful. It's very elementary. And if you find yourself getting into a repetitive type of conversation that is not very helpful, just check back to one. Am I using I statements versus you statements?
You know, one of the best things you can do for a relationship is to sit down and figure out a way that you can communicate that helps build your relationship rather than tear it apart.